is a landscape I finished recently, but I'm having a few problems with it that I just don't feel comfortable with. One of the things is up here, this green I'm not real happy with. Also, because it's right in around the focal point, it bothers me that it appears blurry, and so I'm going to do some work on that. And also down here, I feel like I've cloned some of these shrubs. They all look like the same size. Again, I just don't feel comfortable with this whole lower section, so I'm going to work some more on that. Now what I've done is I have it on the canvas, and I'm going to select all, and I am going to float the canvas up one layer. Alright, so we've removed that from the layer. And so I don't disturb what I've already done, I'm going to duplicate the layer. And now I'm free to work on this layer without doing any damage to what I've already done. I'm going to zoom in on the evergreen bushes. I can move it around here until I get it where I want. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so I can see what I'm doing better. All right, right here, these bother me right to begin with. So I'm going to try a few different things. One option I have is to do a watercolor glaze over this. I can do that by selecting the canvas toner, which is a watercolor brush, and if I touch it to the canvas, it will automatically, if I go to the brush and then touch it to the canvas, it will automatically bring up a watercolor layer. I'm going to select a color that's similar to a raw sienna. I can change it, make it redder if I want, or more orange. I think I'm going to try about there. With my brush, I can change the opacity of it, and I think I'm going to just keep it really low for right now. The brush size, I'll bring down a little bit. That's better. And I can paint over this and see what happens. Now you can see. Now let me see if I go in closer. You can see it. You can see as I add it, because it is a watercolor, you'll see it sprinkling and spreading. Let me zoom back out a bit so I can see better what it looks like. All right, that feels a little bit better. It tends to give it a little more feeling of distance and some texture. Now here I don't like my brush strokes at all, so I am going to switch to, wait a minute, let's see what I have. Let me see, I have a worn bristle here. That's a worn bristle. And there again, that's a brush, and right now that color is set on the sienna. Now that is not a watercolor one, so you'll see if I go to paint with it, it tells me that I can't paint on that layer. All right, so I've got to change layers to here. Let me try it a little bit and see. All right, I'm blurring it, the strokes a little bit more. All right. I'm actually adding some of the sienna. So I'm approaching it a little differently. I'm actually applying the paint directly to the layer that I'm working on. I think I want to reduce that down a little bit. And with this brush, when I first touch it down, it puts the color down. But if I keep it down, it will become a blender, much as if you were using a traditional brush, and you know, as you ran the paint out, it would change it, or pardon me, it would blend it. Now I'm going to pick this green here because I kind of like that, and I want to tone down that sienna a bit with it. You noticed on my wheel here how it changed. Okay. What I'm doing is pushing the alternate key, and that brings up the pick. You can see the pick eyedropper. And I pick it, and well, we're not quite back to the burnt sienna they were at because I've blended it. So let's try that. Let's try that one. Let's go back up to the watercolor layer, and I've got to switch back to my canvas toner there. And I'm going to try and go over this with that sienna again. Again, it's giving it some nice texture. I wait for a minute to let it work. Okay, I think I want to darken it a little bit for the bottom. It looks almost like I need some darker green down in there. So let's go over. Let's pick green from there and change it to a darker one. And let's try and put some in the bottom. Could probably make it even a little bit darker. I don't want to get it right to black though, that's too much. I think we're going to add a little bit of that over in here. Okay. Let's go back to that sienna again, sort of. Let's put a little bit in here, see what it does. I think I'm going to back away a little bit so I can get a better idea of how it's working out. Okay, they feel sharper now. Now these don't look right. So I'm going to add some sienna down into here, the darker sienna in the bottom. Okay, and I'm going to lighten up that a little bit here, and I'm going to go over some of the green areas. I'm doing this all just to tone it down a little bit. Okay, I'm going to bring it out, and let's take a look at how that feels now. I'm going to zoom it back in a little bit to make it larger. Whoop, too big. Let's go there. I can move it around so it's centered a bit. And I'm going to turn off this layer that I've been working on. Well, actually, I'm going to turn off both of these and that. And now what you see is this is the original before I did anything. This is when I added some of the color. Now that kind of looks a little better. And then this is when I added the watercolor layer. That darkened it up quite a bit. I have to decide if I want that or that. But I don't have to make that decision right away because I can just leave it there and turn it on and off as I want. Okay, but I think I am happier with this area now. It doesn't feel so blurry.